One for all user. It's Bakugo. What the hell?
Now it's your turn.
Deku talks to All Might about his dream, and we finally get an inkling of how the one for all power metric works. All we know is that each user cultivates the one for all power, but what exactly constitutes that power? Is the power additive or multiplicative? How do quirks, physical strength, or the human body as a whole factor into the power level of one for all? Nana said that the feelings of all the users along the way get recorded in memory. This may refer to the idea that a person's will increases the power of one for all, or it could be referring to the creation of a pseudo-afterlife, or both. For a person to destroy city blocks casually, there should be an explanation to this, but it's understandable if we don't get one since the quirk itself isn't fully understood by the users. All Might said he'll come watch Deku's joint battle training and will probably be surprised at how far Deku has progressed with his finger flicks. We then move to Field Gamma, the same place where the race to rescue All Might took place after the Hosu arc. Kohei revealing winter costumes is an organic storytelling detail. Some don't have modifications while others do. We get introduced to the student with the highest durability in Class 1A. It's none other than Hagakure, also known as the invisible girl. To withstand the chilling weather while essentially being naked is a feat that's not to be mocked at. Actually, I'm gonna make fun of her. How are you out in the cold butt naked? I mean, you must be so cold that your nipples are diamond hard, and... Wait a second. I see what you're doing, Kohei. Even though I can't see what you're doing. On a serious note, Hagakure's costume has changed a bit. We see redesigned gloves and boots, which can signify color change, thicker clothes for winter, or what I believe to be metallic reflective surfaces. This may help aid in her ability to refract light. She might project light ray reflections onto her costume to do pinpoint light bursts instead of area of effect bursts. Even if this isn't the case at all, aiming blinding light is a skill that she could work on. Ojiro, Momo, and Ashiro have simple extra clothing, but I have a hard time understanding what's around Tsuyu's neck. It might be a neck pillow with a heating device, since Tsuyu is weak to the cold, but if that were the case, why not implement that to her entire suit, just like Bakugo? Bakugo made a fantastic costume upgrade. Bakugo is at a disadvantage in colder environments, so he decided to not let his environment dictate his condition. This suit would prove useful against opponents like Shoto, who can create cold environments. However, this makes me wonder if these will be permanent upgrades or just seasonal costumes. We learn that Hatsume created a second version of Deku's gloves, which increased the durability of the gloves and/or the accuracy of the wind blasts. We then transition to Class B's winter hero costumes, and some changed while others didn't. We know this because Kendo is now rocking sleeves. However, we have no idea what Class B's default costumes look like compared to their winter costumes. I understand that Class B isn't as relevant as Class A, but their default costumes should have been shown earlier. Many people hate Monoma, but I appreciate his existence because his fanatic obsession of wanting to beat 1A is the only strong concept that is actually making 1B relevant. For the first time ever, Kendo isn't the one to keep Monoma in check. It's actually Shinsou's dad, Aizawa. A lot of things that I predicted in my 193 chapter review came to fruition in this chapter, but I was not expecting Shinsou. It seems that he's adopting Aizawa's bandage fighting style because after he hypnotizes his opponents, he needs to find a way to restrain them since physical contact dispels his brainwashing. However, I don't know if I like this decision aesthetically. Aizawa's bandages have weird physics, and the fandom doesn't know why. So if two people in the series are doing the same thing, it kinda gets out of hand. If this visual application is shown, It's solely for the rule of cool. Shinsou's mouth gear might be a voice-changing and amplifier device to deceive his opponents into speaking. When Shinsou becomes a popular pro-hero, villains will know what he can do. Therefore, this device will help alleviate his problems. The earpiece could be just for decoration, or it could enhance his hearing so he can activate his quirk at a larger range. Shinsou has only been training for approximately a semester, so it wouldn't make sense for him to turn into a combat genius immediately. Shinsou is trying to transfer into the heroics department. Does that mean he'll swap places with the student like he previously mentioned, which I believe is the case, or will the school allow a classroom with 21 students? If Shinsou does get accepted, will he go to 1B or 1A? If Shinsou does go to 1B, he will increase the stock in 1B's relevancy, but that would ruin the potential in-class chemistry between him and Aizawa. If Shinsou does go to 1A, Shinsou may be Aizawa's subconscious favorite student. But who would Shinsou replace? A popular theory is that he would replace the eventual traitor, but let's say there is no traitor in 1A. I find it hard to choose a low-tier student to swap out. My first reaction was Sato, but he's established himself as the cook of the class. Whether we like it or not, everyone in 1A has established their personality and function despite having some lower screen time. Which is why Shinsou could be placed into 1B, where it's okay to have a random person getting swapped out since we don't know the fodder, or 1A initiates a 21 student policy. According to Caleb Cook, the official Viz translator of My Hero Academia, he says that the joint battle training that Monoma mentioned is the exact same phrase used in the 2v2 simulation battle at the beginning of the series. With Shinsou thrown into the mix, it would make a 2v2 scenario impossible, so the combat training may not be the same thing we witnessed back then since we are at a different UA environment. Shinsou being the third party really puts a wrench into the structure of how this training will play out. It would make sense to see Shinsou in action immediately after his hype introduction. When Shinsou fights, I expect to see some mistakes since he's relatively new. We will probably get introduced to the entirety of 1B and finally learn who the final recommended student is. We know that Juzo Honenuki is a recommended student. The students in 1B that we know aren't recommended are Ibara Shiozaki, Tetsu, Itsuka Kendo, and Yosetsu Awase, because they took the normal entrance exam. Now I'm going to guess who the final recommended student is. It might be Monoma, but I doubt he could utilize his quirk efficiently in the recommended student entrance exam since he wouldn't know the competitor's quirks. Since 1A has a female and a male recommended student, I'll project that onto 1B. Out of all the girls that could be recommended, I'm leaning towards Reiko Yanagi, who possesses the poltergeist quirk. The definition of poltergeist is a ghost or other supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects being thrown around. It would be amazing if she had a ghost familiar similar to Tokoyami's Dark Shadow. If 1B has 2 male recommended students, then I think it's Shihei Kurohiro. His quirk is called Black. His name has a kanji for domination, which is a really striking word. If his quirk is just to make his skin pigment black, then he must be really strong on a fundamental level to pass the entrance exam. He's essentially 1B's version of Ojiro, but better if he's a recommended student. Maybe his quirk is more than just skin color, and I'm excited to see the possibilities. The final guess would be Manga Fukudashi, simply for the idea that Kohei wants to troll. Or maybe Manga is actually the strongest first-year student and he's been holding back till now. His quirk is comic, and its vagueness holds power. This dude could pull out some unfinished Togashi panel art to make his opponents flustered, or he could show them godlike artwork from Vagabond, Berserk, or Alita Battle Angel to stun his opponents into blindness. Manga Fukudashi can be so meta that he can show My Hero Academia artwork of him beating his opponents, thus making it canon. This dude could even show inappropriate sexual content to make his opponents nosebleed to death. This man is not to be trifled with. My last remark I want to make is that UA may get more visitors from Ketsubutsu or Shiketsu, but the roster is looking awfully huge, so I doubt it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and as for Chapter 195 review,
次は君だ。